All right, Shalom. Call halal Yahweh. Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah. Ba Hashem Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. And Shalom, a salute to the hopefully elect, for the least to the greatest. All right, coming at you once again. I got another video, and this is from a video I got from a channel called Black History. Now, fair use, I want to play this video, for edification purposes. So I hope the owner of the channel understand this. And it's called 100 Black Towns That Were Burned, What They Hid From Us. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of the clip, right? But I just want to do some commentary on it and let you see how the rulers of this society have constantly, tore Jake down every time, it seemed like Jake made some progress. They want us in a messed up position, struggling, paying the bills, they want us to keep on working like a mural, just to keep you distracted from what's really going on, And we here at Great Millstone, starting with the elders and apostles on down, we understand what's going on. We are woke, but we know what time it is. A lot of people are woke, but they don't know what time it is. And when I say that, what I mean is they don't know. You got these so-called top Israelite schools and organizations, and they still talking about the RFID chip is a damn what they say embargo, or it's religion, or it's worship in the white. Nah, man, nah. It's the Quran, man. When I say Quran, we can't really say too much, on this YouTube channel. That's how you know it's the truth, because hey, if it wasn't the truth, they wouldn't be bothered by us saying it. All right. But it's a thing that's a device, not a device, but an imprint that they're going to actually put in your right hand or your forehead, and it could be in different places. The scriptures just say right hand and forehead. So it could be anywhere on your body. If you take it, you're doomed. Now, every time we make progress, right? That's how you know these scriptures are real, and they live, man. It's alive. These scriptures are alive. Every time Jake made progress, here's the enemy, Esau, the so-called white man, was right there to just tear you down. And they have a narrative of, which Black Americans are the tribe of Judah, but you had other tribes that were reclassified, people that was reclassified as Negro, like a lot of Gadites, a lot of Reubenites. You would just look at him, oh, that's a black man. Nah, that's a so-called black man, but that's a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Gad, or that's a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Reuben, or a Hebrew Israelite from any, it's 12 tribes, starting from Judah, Benjamin, Levi, all the way down to Issachar, But a lot of these tribes were the reason why I'm saying this, a lot of these tribes were within this time zone when just coming out of slavery. You have different come ups, in different towns and in different states, and they were just going around just destroying Jake. And there's evidence, and is well documented. And you got a narrative where so-called blacks are lazy. I don't know where you get that narrative, where people get that narrative. That's just another lie. I was looking at a video. I got a friend that's watching it too. It's a nice video that Apostle Kabar did on the inventor, the Jake black man had created a flying device before the Wright brothers, but he doesn't get any credit. You see, and then you got these these coons, these Sambo dudes, like Myron, that guy from Fresh and Fit, where he just talks down on Jake, which he could be a Jake, but he has the spirit of a damn heathen. You know, that guy's just totally out of order, man, and he'll be destroyed too if you know. But they have disrespect for Jake, and they want to kiss the white man's ass, thinking they're gonna get some butter biscuits, you know. But you got people like him, and what do they call it, Hodges twins, and other coons, you know, that they won't bring up this history. That faggot, that coon, Anton Daniel, you know, he's a sellout, and he's going around talking like he's Mr. Big Time, but you're a trust fund baby, you know. You ain't get your money for no business like that. He goes around with his head high in the air like he's about business and all this, when all his money came from a trust fund, you know. So these guys are deceiving, and it's all a lie, and that's the makeup of Babylon. You know, it's all a lie. It's nothing but lies and robbery. And this what happened to our people. And I'm gonna play this video, and I'm gonna get the scriptures on Deuteronomy, because this proves that ultimately the Lord was allowing these heathens to take down our progress. You know, hence the reason why some of us in this position we are today, and they still oppressing us. You know, of course the Sambos don't agree, but that's why we can't. We hoping that Yahweh Shah come back soon, because we can't wait to the Lord destroy you 2/3, you Sambo coons, you 2/3, and the rest of you heathens. You know, yep. So we waiting on our Lord. But I think I did enough talking. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of this documentary.
Before the speeches of Martin Luther King Jr. echoed through the streets of America, there were entire towns built, governed, and populated by proud, self-sufficient Black Americans. These were not mere neighborhoods or temporary settlements, but thriving, self-sustaining towns, flourishing beacons of Black excellence, culture, entrepreneurship, and autonomy. They were built in the ashes of slavery and war, with the tools of resilience and vision. These towns stood as living proof that Black people could not only survive in America, but could thrive, even when the odds were stacked against them. But that legacy has been violently disrupted, buried, erased. These communities were not just lost to time. They were deliberately burned, bombed, and bulldozed out of existence. Over 100 prosperous Black towns across the United States were systematically destroyed through racially motivated violence, arson, massacres, and corrupt legal maneuvers that stripped Black residents of land, wealth, and history. Today, many Americans have never heard of them. But the proof survives in maps, photographs, census records, oral testimonies, and scorched earth. This is a forgotten chapter of American history that challenges the very myth of progress and justice in a land that calls itself free. In the decades following emancipation, formerly enslaved African Americans sought peace, security, and opportunity. Many fled the violent repression of the South and migrated westward or to northern cities. But rather than merely assimilate into the white towns that had so often rejected them, some chose to create new lives on their own terms. They founded towns like Boley in Oklahoma, Nicodemus in Kansas, and Rosewood in Florida, each a model of Black independence. These towns had Black-owned banks, newspapers, schools, farms, hotels, railroads, and elected officials. They embodied the dream of a dignified Black future in America. But white supremacist backlash followed close behind. The very success of these towns ignited fury. Racist mobs often conspired with law enforcement, business elites, and political leaders to dismantle them. This destruction wasn't spontaneous, it was strategic. These weren't isolated incidents, but a pattern of racially motivated economic warfare. Some of the most infamous cases, like the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, are just the tip of the iceberg. In Tulsa's Greenwood district, known as Black Wall Street, over 1,200 black homes and businesses were destroyed in a matter of hours by white mobs and aerial firebombing, with the complicity of local authorities. The death toll is still disputed, but some estimates exceed 300 lives lost. Yet Greenwood was only one of many. In 1919 alone, during what came to be known as the Red Summer, race riots broke out in more than 30 cities. In places like Elaine, Arkansas, and Chicago, Illinois, black communities were targeted, massacred, and forced to flee. In Rosewood, Florida, in 1923, a thriving black town was razed to the ground based on a false accusation by a white woman. Armed mobs destroyed the town while state and local officials did nothing to stop them. Survivors were never compensated, and most never returned. The scale of this destruction becomes even more chilling when one begins to trace the broader map. In Oklahoma alone, more than 50 all-black towns were founded, but many were targeted by white vigilantes or economically sabotaged. Entire towns vanished off maps, like Renniesville, Clearview, and Lincoln. In Pierce City, Missouri, in 1901, white mobs drove out nearly all black residents, confiscating their properties. In Forsyth County, Georgia, in 1912, a campaign of terror, including lynchings and arson, forced over 1,000 black residents to flee. That county remained nearly all white for decades. Some of these towns didn't fall overnight in a blaze of fire. Some were slowly strangled, cut off from access to railroads, loans, infrastructure, and federal aid. Racist zoning laws, redlining, and the deliberate placement of highways destroyed black towns block by block. Others were flooded to make room for lakes and dams, like Oscarville, Georgia, which was submerged under Lake Lanier, or Coahuila, Alabama, now buried beneath Lake Martin. These weren't mere acts of urban planning. They were intentional erasures of black presence, wealth, and memory. This history was never meant to be remembered. Mainstream textbooks ignore these towns, their destruction, and the legacy left in the smoldering aftermath. Even local historical societies sometimes omit or distort these stories.
Yeah, and I would like to say, damn, I really almost played the whole thing, but let me enter that. That's about it. That's all I wanted to play. Really, I wanted to say that they'll act like history just started in 1980 or the 1960s. They totally, like, people that's talking about, Jake. They'll just start with the 1960s. Like, none of this happened, and none of this had an effect on our people progress and where we are today. They'll act like this just never happened, But the years and the trauma and the psychological damage that these people have done, that still affects us to this day. And all the wealth that this man had stolen, it still goes into these corporations. These Edomites that run these corporations, their children are benefiting. They don't have that. And the Lord putting turn the curses on them. But I just wanted to get this chapter in Deuteronomy, right? All right, I wanted to focus on the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy, verse 15, right? I was in another, looking up other scriptures and other translations earlier. The brothers, the young brothers got me doing that. Hey, that's something they put me on to. But this is Deuteronomy 28 and 15 in the King James Version, right? It goes, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." And since we've been going off in all these captivities, mainly this one, because this is the last one, according, to the scriptures and according to the Lord's promise. These curses have come upon us back then as well. You know, because we was going off in the book of Judges. Well, we start going off, actually going all the way back to the garden, you know. But Moses got these scriptures around his time, you know, and that's when we was coming up out of Egypt. That's what made this captivity kind of I would say huge, because it reminds us of Egypt. And this is the modern day Egypt, which is America, you know. And this is the longest captivity we've been in since Egypt. Well, I'm gonna say around the same time length, you know, depending on when the Lord gonna send his son back. You know, we've been going off since we've left Egypt. So you got us coming up out of Egypt, coming into the land of Israel. I'm just breaking down the time zones. You got the judges, you got all the judges. Then you got, that's probably a few hundreds of years, maybe, like I would say about 5 to 1,000 years, or rather 500 years. Then you got the time of King David and King Solomon, right? All the way down to Yahweh Shai. We've been going on. So that's another, 500, 1,000 years from King David all the way down, or King Solomon all the way down to, because David started going off as well. David all the way down to, when the Lord came on the scene, that was around 1,000 years, 900 years to 1,000 years. That's the time period. We've been in and out of captivity. So all these nations had a part of us. Going back to the book of Judges, we was going in and out of captivity, but the captivities only lasted 70 years, 100 years, 50 years. I don't even think some of the captivities went over 100. You may had a couple captivities that went like 100 and something years or 70, but we were going back in and out of captivity. Then going to the time where Yahweh Shai was on the scene, the Romans had us. Well, we weren't in hardcore captivity like an Egyptian, because we knew who we were. So we kept a lot of things of our ethnicity and culture. This is magnificent because we lost everything over here, and we just getting it back, mentally and spiritually. And then the physical aspect of the kingdom will come once Yahweh Shai come back. All right. So I just wanted to focus on that. The Lord is now starting to put all these other curses on our enemies. I believe that says that in Deuteronomy 7:6. Let's go to it. Is that? Okay, I'll read it anyway. That wasn't the one I looked for. But it says, For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, or thy power. The Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So that's that's separate right there. He separated us right there, All right, I had to look it up real fast. I should have known that, but it's Deuteronomy 30:7, right? The one I was looking for. It says, and the Lord thy God or thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. And all these other nations, they hate us. They like to play like they don't hate anyone or love everybody. Yeah, when did they ever show love? I just showed you that documentary. When did they ever show us love? When did any of these nations ever show us love? Or even be fair with us? At that, when did they ever be fair with us? It's not a time in history. Now, they may have been peaceful. I can't even say that. I can't even say peaceful because these other nations, they'll quick to gun us down. They'll quick. If they got the upper hand on us, they'll take it the whole way. Jake is the only sympathizer that when he have the upper hand on his enemies, he'll have mercy. But these other nations, they don't show us mercy. I just saw a video that a damn devil just took out this elderly man. Shot him right, ain't had no mercy, man. And then you had a younger devil that he took out a elderly man in a wheelchair. How cowardly can you be to shoot a man in a wheelchair? To shoot a man, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up that video because I ain't lying. Here's the video right here. Look at this coward. Let's play it. Fair use. This is the Fox News.
Caught on camera, new video this morning showing the moments before and the waterfront. Take a look here. This happened on July 31st around 4 p.m. Seattle police say the suspect, 32-year-old Gregory Tim, is charged with first-degree assault. They say that Tim approached the victim and grabbed a military patch from him. The victim accused Tim of stolen valor and pulled out a knife. And that's when police say Tim grabbed a gun and shot the victim in the chest.
Show me your ID.
Yeah, he shot the man, and luckily, the Jake, he survived, But he was a coward, man. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. This is Deuteronomy 28. What's the one that says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. So we got to go to this devil for everything. And these devils are proud too, because they know they got the upper hand, but the Lord is about to snatch it right from them. And it's payback time, So enjoy your kingdom while you can, Esau. You can smile, smirk, little devilish smirks they have. Yeah, go ahead, enjoy. Cause you ain't got too much longer, But I hope this was edifying to the body. Till again, shalom.